During these challenging times, kids need their parents more than ever. Hello, I'm Jade Elliott, and we at KUTV are proud to join with Uplift Families, the initiative of First Lady of Utah, Jeanette Herbert, to present the 9th Annual TIPS Parenting Conference, featuring music by One Voice Children's Choir, Alex Boyer, and Carmen Rasmussen Herbert. Plus, we'll have TIPS Talks by special guests Dr. Paula Fellingham, Jason Hewlett, and Brad Wilcox. TIPS, it stands for Teaching Important Parenting Skills. And for the next hour, we'll learn ways to strengthen our families and better communicate with our kids. Are you concerned about your kids? Are you looking for answers to parenting questions or searching for ways to keep your kids safe and healthy in today's world? You can find answers at upliftfamilies.org.
Hello, I'm Jeanette Herbert. Being a parent during this unique time can be especially challenging. Kids are needing their parents now more than ever. My initiative, Uplift Families, helps to strengthen families by connecting parents with programs, resources, and information that help parents acquire the skills necessary to raise loving, responsible children. After more than a decade, Uplift Families continues to help thousands of parents and families throughout the state.
The goal of Uplift Families is to provide information through web-based resources, social media, educational materials, and by hosting yearly conferences on parenting and family issues. An essential component of Uplift Families is its website, upliftfamilies.org. Now, upliftfamilies.org contains links to select programs, organizations, and agencies that provide important information that can help parents. The website showcases TIPS talks from annual parenting conferences, pertinent articles, and other information that can help strengthen families. The highlight of upliftfamilies.org, the state-of-the-art Parent Resource Center that features over 1,000 links to trusted family information sources. Anyone can find answers to parenting questions. Simply go to Uplift Families Parent Resource Center, and that's where you can search by keyword, age, or topic.
I invite you to visit our website and find valuable resources that can benefit your children and family. Remember, when parents lead, kids succeed.
For more information, go to upliftfamilies.org. And now, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the president and founder of Uplift Families, First Lady of Utah, Jeanette Herbert. Mrs. Herbert was born in Preston, Idaho, and raised in Springville, Utah. While attending college, she met her husband of 50 years, Gary Herbert. After the two married, they settled in Orem, Utah, and she ran a commercial child care and preschool for 23 years and operated an hourly drop-in center for 13. She has received many awards for her leadership and community service, but her greatest accomplishment is being a wife, a mother of 6, and a grandmother of 17.
Welcome to our 9th annual Uplift Families TIPS Parenting Conference. TIPS is an acronym for Teaching Important Parenting Skills. We are excited to have this important conference broadcast remotely this year by our media partners KUTV Channel 2. We're grateful to them for this opportunity. We have amazing speakers this year with timely messages that will help you as parents and caregivers to navigate through the ever-changing struggles that our kids are facing in today's world. Kids are struggling with new challenges every day and recently have been living through some of the biggest challenges of their lives. This is a time when having a good relationship with our kids and being able to communicate in a positive way is vital. When children have a strong, healthy relationship with their parents, there is a trust that is built that enables children to feel comfortable sharing their deepest thoughts and fears. For those who feel hesitant talking to a parent about difficult issues, it's important to let our kids know that there are others they can turn to, whether it be a trusted friend, a teacher, or a school counselor. The important thing is for them to be able to open up and communicate rather than keep things bottled up inside. From past experience, I know that communicating with kids can be tricky. As parents, there are times when we think that we have clearly communicated a point to our children only to find that somehow we've missed the mark. Let me give you an example. A father was trying to teach his young son the evils of alcohol. He came up with what he thought was an ingenious plan. He went out to the garden and dug up 2 juicy worms. He then took them into the house where he had 2 glasses. He filled one glass with water and the other one with whiskey. He then put one worm in the glass of water, the other worm in the glass of whiskey. The worm in the water wiggled around, seeming to enjoy itself, while the one in whiskey just curled up and died. "All right, son," asked the father, "what does that show you?" The boy thought for a minute and then replied, "Well, Dad, it shows if you drink alcohol, you won't have worms." The boy then smiled, got up, and walked out of the room, leaving his dad puzzled as to where he went wrong. Sometimes our best attempts at communicating don't hit the mark like we had hoped, much like many aspects of parenting. We think that our style of parenting is effective, only to find out later in life that our parenting style has had some unintended consequences. As parents, we may have been too lenient or maybe too strict. We may have been too indulgent, thinking that this was the best way to show love to our children. Unfortunately, when raising children, we don't always get second chances to do differently. This is why the time is now to learn and understand the skills that will help us achieve the greatest success as parents. I started my Uplift Families initiative a short time after my husband became the governor. I recognized a need for parents to have access to important information that would assist them in making good choices for how they raise their kids. Uplift Families' goal is to give parents the tools necessary to better understand their children and the difficulties they face. Our aim is to assist parents in learning skills that are essential in raising strong, capable, resilient kids who will then go on to live happy and productive lives. Our website, upliftfamilies.org, is filled with resources that can help all parents find answers to important parenting questions. The site has vetted resources covering the most important topics to parents. We also feature weekly articles written by parenting experts on a variety of topics. Please check it out. I think you will like what you find. Thank you for joining us this evening and enjoy the conference.
Thank you, Mrs. Herbert. And now an inspiring musical message from Utah's own One Voice Children's Choir under the direction of its talented founder and arranger, Masa Fukuda.
You're the engine that makes all things go, and you're always in disguise, my hero. I see your light in the dark, smile on my face when we all know it's hard. There's no way to ever pay you back. Bless your heart, know I love you for that. Honest and selfless, I don't know if this helps it, but good job, you're doing a good job, a good job. You're doing a good job, don't get too down. The world needs you now. Know that you matter, 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 yeah. You're doing a good job, a good job. You're doing a good job, don't get too down. The world needs you now. Know that you matter, 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 yeah.
6 in the morning. As soon as you walk through that door, everyone needs you again. The world's out of order. It's not a sound when you're not around.
All day on your feet, hard to keep that energy. I know when it feels like the end of the road, you don't let go, you just press forward. You're the engine that makes all things go, go. Always in disguise, my hero. I see a light in the dark, smile in my face when we all know it's hard. There's no way to ever pay you back. Bless your heart, know I love you for that. Honest and selfless, I don't know if this helps it, but
Good job, you're doing a good job, a good job.
good job.
You're doing a good job, don't get too down. The world needs you now. Know that you matter, matter, matter.
Good job.
You're doing a good job, a good job.
Yeah.
You're doing a good job, don't get too down. The world needs you now. Know that you matter, matter, matter. the mothers, the fathers, the teachers that reach us, strangers to friends that show up in the end. From the bottom to the top, the listeners that hear us, this is for you. You make me feel it. You're doing a good job, a good job. You're doing a good job. Don't get too down. The world needs you now. Know that you matter.
Thank you so much to our first responders, our healthcare workers, our mothers.
Thank you to our moms and our dads.
Thank you to our teachers who've helped us.
We know it's been hard, but thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good job.
Mom,
Dad, sometimes I'm gonna be a little impulsive.
I mean, I'm a teenager.
not to freak you out or anything, but the leading cause of death in Utah for teens.
It's suicide.
So help us out here.
Because
We may be impulsive,
But we want to live.
Almost all the time.
but in case there are times when we forget that,
keep your guns and ammo locked up safely.
Because doing this little thing can make a big difference.
Why do we gather around the dinner table for life's important moments? It's the place where families come together, where stories are told and memories are made that last a lifetime. Dinner isn't just where food happens, it's where family happens. Research shows teens who regularly eat as a family are 33% less likely to use alcohol or illicit drugs. For more information, visit parentsempowered.org.
Thursday Night Lights, live, local, high school football. KJAZ 14 America First Credit Union Thursday Night Lights, presented by RC Willey. Join us for the biggest games, Thursdays at 7, only on KJAZ.
My favorite thing about my mom is that she will help you with anything. My mommy is your best friend. Dad usually lets us get away with stuff that my mom wouldn't.
I love it when my dad takes time off and plays with us.
My mom teaches ballet, and I want to be as good as a dancer as her. My mom says I love you, and that makes me feel happy.
I like that my parents let me be who I want to be.
I love you guys so much. I love you.
Dr. Paula Fellingham has presented for over 400 events in 152 nations during the past 30 years. She is an author, speaker, former radio personality, and recipient of numerous awards from 3 U.S. presidents. She is founder and CEO of the Women's Information Network, the Women of the Middle East Network, and the founder and director of Global Prosperity and Peace Initiative, in addition to the International Youth Parliament. Paula has been married for 49 years to Dr. Gilbert Fellingham and has 8 children and 24 grandchildren.
It was the best of times and it was the worst of times. I'm confident that you're familiar with today's profound challenges, so I'd like to jump right into sharing solutions. I'm Paula Fellingham, and I'm honored to share just a few of the principles that I've taught my own 8 children and thousands of families worldwide. Why am I confident that they'll work during both the best of times, when things are going well, and the worst of times, when problems surround us? Because principles of truth never change. I'd first like to describe the 10 research-based characteristics of the happiest children. They feel loved and appreciated, and they show love and appreciation to others. They have cheerful, positive attitudes. They're kind, obedient, respectful, responsible, and compassionate. They communicate well. They maintain close relationships with their families. They make wise moral choices and have healthy habits, enjoy learning. They're self-confident, and they have physical, mental, social, emotional, and spiritual well-being. Now, as you listen to that, please know that this is the ideal and that we're working toward these things. But please, don't be discouraged and don't feel guilty. Throughout all that I'm presenting, if you're not doing everything 100%, no one does it 100%. There are no perfect families and there are no perfect parents. My friends, I believe that that very first characteristic, feeling loved and appreciated, is the foundation for the other 9. Think about it. When you feel loved and appreciated, isn't it easier to be joyful and kind and all the rest? Absolutely. Now, in just a moment, we'll talk about solutions.
But again, don't feel discouraged or guilty if you aren't doing these things 100%. Just go forward from where you are today. Now, I'd like to share 7 parenting solutions in a quick 5 minutes. Are you ready? Solution number 1, love one another. Love begets love. Plain and simple, you know this. If you want to have children who love and appreciate others, you have to teach them by example and by precept. Be kind in thought, word, tone of voice, and actions. Hug and kiss them and hold them and smile and wink. Yes, even your teenagers, they need this too. Tell your children often that you love them. Tell them that you're so honored to be their mom or dad. Tell them that of all the children in the world, they're the perfect ones for you and your family. Talk about how amazing they are, how kind they are. They will believe it and become it. Usually, they have their agency. Solution number 2, commit unhurried time to your family. There is no substitute for unhurried time with your children. To a child, quality plus quantity time equals love. Be interested in what they're interested in and show them by helping them with their projects and hobbies, and have lots of family traditions. Oh, that's so important. Children don't thrive on leftover time. They thrive on prime time. So, what are you giving your life to that's more important than your children? Solution number 3, teach gratitude, obedience, and other character-building values. Albert Schweitzer said there are only 3 ways to teach a child: by example, example, and example. However, teaching values also needs to be done other ways, like telling your children character-building stories, by having weekly family gatherings when principles of truth are taught, by having family discussions and regular fun activities. Now, there are 5 keys to teach just one of those values. We don't have time for any more. I'm going to teach one of them, and that's obedience. First, again, you teach it through your example. Parents must obey the rules that apply to them. Children are watching. Number 2, through kindness. We teach obedience through kindness, firmness, and consistency. Teach the rules with kindness, but be firm when rules are broken. Be consistent and follow through. Broken promises are lies to children. And they're confused when sometimes misbehavior is okay and other times they're punished for doing the same thing. Number 3, have reasonable expectations for your children. Don't give your 5-year-old the job of taking out the heavy garbage, and don't expect your 17 or 18-year-olds to be home at 10 o'clock at night on Saturdays. Number 4, teach obedience through participation and ownership. Allow children to help create the family rules and the consequences for breaking the rules. Then it isn't you imposing punishment on them. When children disobey the rules they helped create, they experience the consequences that they chose, right? So number 5, children learn to obey through positive reinforcement. Whatever behavior we reinforce, they're going to learn. This is huge. Take every opportunity to catch your children making good choices, like, Janet and Steve, I like the way you're playing so nicely together. It's just like you to share your toys. You're such sharing children. Or, thanks for being so patient while Mom finishes this, Jared. You're such a kind boy. Positive reinforcement is your best parenting tool to prevent misbehavior. Solution number 4, communicate openly, honestly, frequently. Talk in ways that strengthen your relationships and lift others up. Oh, there's so many ways to do this, my friends. I believe that this communication, good communication, is the second most important of all the solutions. Solution number 5, prevent and solve problems wisely and discipline with love. Oh, we could spend hours talking about this. I've written 2 books on this subject. I'll share just one quick solution of how to prevent and solve problems in a creative way. So parents, does this sound familiar? Can I have some ice cream? Can I go to the park for just a little while with my friends? Can I have a scooter? Can I have a sleepover? It seems like there are so many no's in a child's life. We parents don't want to always be disappointing our children with no's. I'd like to suggest that we say yes as often as possible, but on our terms. For example, when your child says 1 hour before dinner, "Can I have some ice cream?" You say yes. Right after dinner, you can have some. When they say, "Can I go to my friend's house?" You say yes. Right after you've finished your homework and your room is clean, you could go to your friend's house till 15 minutes before dinner. I'd like to suggest that parents say yes as often as possible, but again on your terms. And since I'm against teenage sleepovers, when they asked me, "Can I have a sleepover?" I said yes. Just as soon as you're married, you can have all the sleepovers you want. Okay, solution number 6, enjoy well-being. Mental, physical, emotional, social, financial, spiritual. There's just too much to cover here in our limited time, but this is a very important solution. And our last solution, number 7, serve others. Oh, my friends, as you reach outside of yourselves and with your children, find many ways to serve those in need. Your children will follow in your footsteps, and they'll learn one of the most important lessons in life, that loving and serving others is a key to happiness and to living a purpose-driven, joy-filled life. I've loved being with you. May you be blessed on your wonderful parenting adventure.
With over 2,000 presentations for Fortune 500 companies, Jason Hewlett is known for his unforgettable comedic and inspiring performances as an award-winning keynote, entertainer, and MC. He was inducted into the Speaker Hall of Fame with the Council of Peers Award for Excellence. Author of The Promise to the One, Jason is dedicated to helping others embrace the promises we make to those we serve, our peers we work with, and to ourselves. He and his wife Tammy have 4 children.
Our family was driving down the road after another family trip in the motorhome. Yes, all the kids were in the back, screaming and having a good time, except for our daughter, Ella. She was seated next to me. She's 14 years old, and I said to her, "Ella, what do you want to do with the remaining 4 summers you have as a child in our home?" And she said, "What do you mean I only have 4 summers left?" I said, "As a kid, you only have 4 summers left as a part of this family of these little kids. What are we going to do?" She had never thought about it before that way. She just thought that's how it would be forever. And I said, 4 summers, what's it going to be? Instead of her saying, "I want to go to Paris, and I need to go to Tokyo, and let's go to the moon." Well, instead she just said, "I just want to do this. I want to be in the motorhome and drive around and explore Utah. Maybe we can, go to some other close states, but I just like doing this." It was activities that we had already been doing that she really, really liked doing and wanted to do more of. I asked her for more specifics. She said, "Well, maybe if you and I had more one-on-one time, daddy-daughter time together." We had done the daddy-daughter dances, when she was 5, it was like, "Oh yeah, oh yeah." And then when she was 14, it was like, "Dad, this is embarrassing." So as we started to figure out what's the best way to do daddy-daughter time, now it's become, hey, let's just go for a drive. Hey, let's just go grab a little milkshake somewhere and just have a chance to sit and talk and listen. But it comes down as a parent to what is our promise of becoming a more present parent. So often it's just in our willingness to listen to what they have to say, asking those types of questions. Hey, what do you want to do more with mom or with dad? What can we establish so that it would be more fun for you? To be observant to their responses and to allow and create an environment where we can have that be something that's possible. I know that for years it's been tough for me as a dad that had many children right in a row. My wife is amazing. Here's our family. You guys ready? Yes, this is our family. We had 4 kids in 5 years. Yes, it was crazy time. No twins in there. Our daughter's the oldest, Ella, and then the boys are Redford, Romney, and Royal. These are my favorite people, and of course, Mommy, Tammy, is the greatest. But we had a lot of kids, and I was having a hard time being present. The boy that's right in front of me, Romney, to my shoulder, when he was 3 years old, he's now, whoa, what is he now? He's 12. He's 12, where did that go? When he was 3 years old, this sweet boy, he and I went on a daddy-son day, where we decided, when I asked him, "Where do you want to go eat?" He was 3. He said, "McDonald's." So I said, okay. So we went to McDonald's. As we're driving to McDonald's, you know, going to go get some health food, I looked in the rear view mirror and I said, hey, buddy, you ready to go have fun? And he goes, I like it when you're nice, Daddy, not mean, Daddy. He said that to me. I said, when am I mean, Daddy? He said, that's not right now. You see, I found out that my kids saw me as not the nicest dad when they were little, probably because they were running around and being crazy and I was trying to keep them in line. Luckily, I have a beautiful wife and the mother of the children who helped me to figure out that if I just spent more time with them one-on-one, things would get better. And it did. But while we were at McDonald's, I said to my son, hey, what do you want to do? He said, I want to go up the slide. So he went running up the slide. And it was just after he and I had just taken a little selfie, one with each other, you know, like, and then he went up the slide and he goes, Daddy, Daddy, and I go, ah, and he goes, zip, and he went up, and he goes, Daddy, Daddy, and I go, ah, and he goes, zip, and he went, and he goes, Daddy, Daddy, and I was like, I've had enough. No, I didn't say that, but I thought that. You see, I hadn't spent much time being a present parent with my kids, and the next thing I knew, I was looking at my phone and scrolling through Facebook. Yeah, Facebook was my place to go when I wasn't sure what to do in a present situation with my children. And as I was posting the selfie that I was having a great time with my son at McDonald's on our daddy-son date, that's when it occurred to me that I wasn't fully present. I was probably even a hypocrite. And in that moment, I made a decision that I'd like to encourage you as a present parent to consider. I held my finger down on that app, and that app started to do a little dance. You know how it dances when it doesn't want to go away. And I said, delete. And it said, are you sure? Come on. And I said, yes, delete. I deleted the app of Facebook from my phone. I deleted all the social media from my phone. And I looked up and I saw my son who was standing there looking at me. And he came zipping down the slide. And I said, you ready to play? He said, yeah, let's play. Now, maybe that's too dramatic or drastic for you to consider in your life, but I'd like you to consider it to be a more present parent if that's what needs to happen. Because in that moment, my relationship changed with my son. It changed as a father. That was almost a decade ago that story took place. And hey, social media has come on my phone once in a while when I have to put it on there, and then I take it right off because I know that I won't be a present parent with it on there. What are some of your promises that you can make to your family and to yourself? I know that by having those opportunities with my children, to be together, to have daddy-child time is way more fun, and it's my favorite thing. It's also so fun when we're all together. I know that the kids, when they're much littler, they wanted me to do Daddy Dinosaur. They said, Daddy, do the dinosaur. And I was like, I love you, you love me. Ah! And they're like, Daddy, no, make it awesome, you know. Do the raptor from Jurassic Park. Now I had a choice, didn't I? I could either pretend to do something, or I could go all in full presence. That's what I'm talking about right now to you. How are you going to uplift your family? I'm going 100% with the raptor. And I start chasing them around, and they're all, Daddy, no. And I'm like, oh, I love it. When they're laughing, they're screaming. They won't go to bed anymore because they're like, I'm scared. I'm sorry. But how are we a present parent? How are we listening to our children? How are we delivering for them in ways that only we can? You see, I have talents that you don't have, and you have talents I don't have. I can do this with my face, and I can do this with my nose. And the kids like me to show that to their friends. I don't know how long that's going to last, but I'm going to share it with their friends. And then they all go, ha! And so think about your talents, your signature moves, whether it's a velociraptor or driving the motorhome around, or even saying and committing to delete the social media off of your phone so you're a more present parent. You have talents I don't have. I have talents you don't want. Be the present parent. Make a promise to yourself that you will be. And it'll change the way that your life leads from now on. To communicate, to observe, to listen, to promise to ask the right questions of your children, and then to promise to set forth a plan in place so that you can be and have a wonderful family experience. 4 summers left. Oh my goodness, the kids are growing. They're growing old fast. I don't want them to grow up, but they are. And so my promise is to become a present parent. What's your promise? I'm Jason Hewlett.
Going back to school this year is more complicated than ever before.
When you're making tough decisions about your family's education, 2 News This Morning is here for you.
From the safety of our children and teachers on campus to the students and parents navigating online education, 2 News goes in depth every morning.
As school plans change, help your student adapt by having the most up-to-date information.
Health, safety, and education. Tune in to 2 News This Morning as we guide you through the path forward back to school.
Are you concerned about your kids? Are you searching for ways to keep your kids safe and healthy in today's world? Find answers at upliftfamilies.org.
Hello, I'm Jeanette Herbert, First Lady of Utah. My initiative, Uplift Families, connects parents with resources that benefit children and families.
Find answers to parenting questions by going to upliftfamilies.org. Click on the Parent Resource Center. Search by keyword, age, or topic.
Remember, when parents lead, kids succeed.
For more information, go to upliftfamilies.org.
Hun, who's this guy in the kitchen?
Oh, sorry, I thought having a ref in the house would help us enforce the boundaries that we set with the kids.
3 minutes for throwing crayons. 5 minutes. Grounding. 1 week. All right. Excessive celebration.
We got voted like
touchdown.
It's time for Friday Night Rivals on KMYU. On Friday nights, it's more than just a game. It's where rivalries meet face to face. Because when a game means this much, you want to be part of every moment.
He wants the end zone wide open. Touchdown.
You can count on us to bring you every game right here on KMYU.
Friday Night Rivals, brought to you by America First Credit Union and presented by R.C. Willey.
See you Friday at 7.
To be a good parent, you need to understand your kids and understand what they're going through.
I love it when they support me.
I lost my tooth, and when I showed her, she was so proud of me.
I love my dad because he's always super forgiving.
I liked to have fun with him, like go outside. My parents are so cool. All parents are so cool. Thank you, Daddy.
Alex Boyer and Carmen Rasmussen Herbert are two of Utah's great talents. Alex is an America's Got Talent and X Factor alumni. Carmen was a top 6 finalist on American Idol. Now, Alex's diverse blend of African-infused pop music garnered him over 1 billion views on YouTube. He and his wife Julie have 7 kids and 1 on the way. And Carmen has been featured in 2 nationwide tours, is an author, columnist, speaker, and host of the podcast Doing Good. She and her husband, Brad, have 4 boys. And now, Alex Boyer and Carmen Rasmussen Herbert.
Well, Alex, I'm so excited to be here with you today.
Me
talking
too.
about parenting, our specialty.
Yes.
Just kidding, not for me. You have
We have
double
an
the
American
kids.
football team collectively with all our kids.
Right. You have double the kids that I do. So you should be coaching me.
Oh, man. No, I
And
need all the
helping
help I
me
can
out.
get, so.
Well, me too. But we're hoping to impart some of our advice and wisdom that we've learned over the years and share with you tonight things that
Yeah.
we've learned about parenting. Something that's been on my mind, especially lately, is about service. So I have a little boy who loves to sell things, and he will draw pictures like with pen or copy pictures that his brothers have drawn and go out on the corner and sell them. And
Yes.
I'll be darned if he doesn't come home with like $10 every
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Like, who is buying these pictures on the
That's what-
corner? He's a
Yes.
little entrepreneur. So the other day he came to me and he said, Mom, he drew this little picture and it said, what can I do to help you today? And he drew little purple hearts. Check the things I can do. And one was weeding, cleaning your house, or helping.
Wow, he asked you that?
He said, I'm making copies of this and I'm taking it around to our neighbors.
Can we switch kids? Do you mind?
This was very rare. Okay, so I was like, well, I don't know if I want you going house to house, like offering your service. Like, what are you going to be doing? And people to feel obligated.
Yeah.
And then the thought came to my mind, wait a second. My son wants to go around to people's houses serving them.
Yeah.
Not sitting on the couch watching TV.
Yeah.
What am I doing? Yes,
And
of
what
course
is he
you
going to be
can.
doing at 19?
Right, exactly.
Same
yes,
thing.
same thing. Knocking on doors. How can we help you and serve you?
Yeah.
So he went over to our neighbor's house with his little sign, and they said, yes, would you mind weeding our
Wow.
front yard? And so he went out there. It was like one of those really hot 102-degree days. and he weeded their
Wow.
little front yard for an hour.
Oh my gosh.
And as he was doing that, two of my other boys, his older brothers, saw what he was doing, and they were like, we want to help.
Yeah, I wanna
They
do
got
that.
their little gloves on and went outside and started helping him. And I thought, you know what? I have preached to these boys so many times, please help each other out. Please,
Yeah.
let's serve our neighbors. And it's like, whoop, in one ear, out
Yeah.
the other.
Yeah.
But my grandma was saying, listen, you can say anything you want to kids. They're not going to listen to a word you say. They will do what you do. And a few days before this, my husband mowed this neighbor's lawn.
Oh.
And he was watching that and thought, I want to do something to help them too. And so it was by watching us. That's a terrifying thought, isn't
Yeah.
it? I'm
Yes,
gonna
it is.
do
Yeah.
exactly what you
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
That he was serving them. And that was such an incredible experience for me as a mother to be like, oh, what I'm trying to teach him is sinking in, but it's not because of what I'm saying. It's because of the example that we're setting and then his example for his brothers.
No, I love that, and something interesting that you were talking about that, sometimes our kids want to do something and we kind of just shut it down a little bit because we're like, that's dangerous. That's a little crazy. That's a little,
right.
And I found myself doing that, a couple of times. And the interesting thing is the same thing. My kids came and they were like, we want to go out and we want to go do something on the street. So I said, what do you want to do? He says, we want to sell compliments. I'm like, how y'all gonna make some money? Compliment. You can start with me, right? And so anyway, they went out. Carmen, they made $150.
What?
This is what was crazy.
No
There was
way.
people out there in tears who would park and they'll say, I really needed to hear that right now during this COVID and everything. And this is their own idea. They came out with it. And usually it's the kind of stuff I would shut down.
Yes.
And I'm so glad that I didn't, because now they taught me a lesson,
Yes.
And I think sometimes, a lot of times, our kids teach us a lot more than we kind of think.
It's true.
One of the things I've noticed is that, especially us as parents, we like to control.
Yes.
And sometimes that can be a dangerous thing because, when we say, well, we need to discipline and this and that. Jesus didn't need to discipline us. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes I think that we have this culture where we want to control everything that's happening. And sometimes we have to just, and this is me talking to myself, let go.
Yes.
And let some of the things that are not cultural, some of the things that's like, sometimes we're conditional in our love. Like if you do this, if you play up, then you lose our love.
Right.
But if you're good and say, oh, my son is just so good and he's just perfect and just beautiful. And what I'm starting to realize, especially with my kids, is just like, if my kids were absolutely perfect, I would feel sorry for myself because then I'd be taking all the credit.
Right.
You know
exactly.
what I'm saying?
Yes.
And it's really just like letting things just kind of happen. We have this checklist of things that we have to have our kids do. They have to behave in this way and this and that and this. And I'm trying to let that go.
Me too.
Because it's not good for my kids.
Well, love is not
in the way that I thought it would be.
Yes.
Yeah.
It can't be conditional. We have to love them even when they're the
Yeah.
hardest to love
Yeah.
because a lot of times I've heard an amazing parenting expert, her name's Meg Meeker, and she said kids will ask for love in the hardest of ways. And they'll be
Yes.
the most difficult.
Yes.
And that's when we need
Yeah.
to show the
Yeah.
most love.
And the more we control, the less we're loving them.
Right.
And what happens is then they're going to get the validation from someone else.
Exactly.
And that's the scariest part when they want to, do you really love me? Am I good? Am I doing good? Because at home, all I get is whack, 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 whack.
Yes.
And
exactly.
so that's this COVID, I've been trying to just stay back and just let my
back.
kids just be kids.
And you
know
know
what I mean?
what?
If they spill the milk, that's fine. If they drop it on the
That's
floor,
okay.
that's fine. I've been, trying to do that a lot more. And I'm having so much more fun with my kids.
I know. It's fun to be parents. It's
Yeah.
fun to be with kids. And you know what? They're a lot more amazing than I think we even realize.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to be a parent. I know you have 7, 1 on the way. I have 4. And we want to sing a song today about doing good for others, whether it's selling compliments, making flyers of how we can serve other people. Let your kids love and serve in the way they know best. So this is Have I Done Any Good Today?
Humbala, 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 humbala. Have I done any good in this world today? Have I helped anyone in need? Have I cheered up the sad, made someone feel alive? If not, I have failed in need.
Has anyone's burden been lighted to?
your mansions above. Doing good is a pleasure, a joy beyond measure, a blessing of duty and love. Oh yeah. There are chances for work all around us now. Opportunities right in our way. Do not let them pass by, saying somehow I'll try. So go and do something today.
'Tis noble of man to work and to give. Love's labor has merit unknown. And only he who does something helps others to live. To God each good work will be known.
Then wake up and do something more than dream of your mansions above. Doing good is a pleasure, a joy beyond measure, a blessing, a duty and love.
Why do we gather around the dinner table for life's important moments? It's the place where families come together, where stories are told and memories are made that last a lifetime. Dinner isn't just where food happens, it's where family happens. Research shows teens who regularly eat as a family are 33% less likely to use alcohol or illicit drugs. For more information, visit parentsempowered.org.
Mom?
Dad, sometimes I'm gonna be a little impulsive.
I mean, I'm a teenager.
Not to freak you out or anything, but the leading cause of death in Utah for teens
It's suicide.
So help us out here.
Because
We may be impulsive,
but we want to live. Almost all the time.
but in case there are times when we forget that,
keep your guns and ammo locked up safely.
because doing this little thing
Can make a big difference.
Are you concerned about your kids? Are you searching for ways to keep your kids safe and healthy in today's world? Find answers at upliftfamilies.org.
Hello, I'm Jeanette Herbert, First Lady of Utah. My initiative, Uplift Families, connects parents with resources that benefit children and families.
Find answers to parenting questions by going to upliftfamilies.org. Click on the Parent Resource Center. Search by keyword, age, or topic.
Remember, when parents lead, kids succeed.
For more information, go to upliftfamilies.org.
The moment I found out my friend passed away, my mom was the first person that I hugged. My mom's so awesome at being nice and kind.
I like my mom's haircut so much that I cut mine just like hers.
I like how my dad talks to me about hard things like divorce.
He can fix anything. I'm pretty sure he's a magician. I want to be like my dad when I grow up. He's pretty much my hero.
Brad Wilcox is a popular speaker who has presented for millions. He is an author, an educator, and a youth leader. Brad received his bachelor's and master's degrees from Brigham Young University and his PhD from University of Wyoming. He is currently a professor at BYU in Provo, Utah, and he is currently serving as the second counselor in the Young Men General Presidency for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Brad and his wife, Debbie, have 4 children and 8 grandchildren.
We all wish we could communicate better with our children, but sometimes we feel like there's a big old wall right there, like the kids have put up a wall trying to keep us out. The good news is that walls can come down. I have proof. Right here in my pocket, I have a little piece of concrete that I keep on my desk at home. It may seem like a strange decoration for a study until you realize that this is a piece of the Berlin Wall. You can even see some of the graffiti over here on this end. And I keep this decoration on my desk. I keep this little chunk of concrete to remind me that walls can come down, even walls that we think will never come down. Sometimes our children build walls around themselves for the same reason that the Berlin Wall was built. Maybe it's mistrust, maybe it's miscommunication, maybe it's fear. But the walls go up, and we have to be willing to see beyond the wall, find the loose brick, and then bring the wall down. First, let's talk for a minute about seeing beyond the wall. That means looking for the needs that are there that aren't being clearly expressed. Think about when your child was a baby. The baby would cry, you'd rock him. The baby would cry, you'd feed him. The baby would cry, you'd change him. And you'd be thinking, gosh, I wish this kid could just talk to me. Well, now he can talk to you, but he doesn't. He keeps playing the same game. He just keeps crying and expects you to kind of figure out what the need is that has to be met. It's an unspoken need. It's an uncommunicated need. But if you look beyond the wall, you can see it. Maybe it will show up in attention-getting behaviors. Maybe it's going to show up in some extreme or inconsistent behaviors or inconsistent attitudes. Sometimes that cry from beyond the wall may be your kid talking about a friend. Be a little careful about being too critical when your kid starts talking about a friend's problem or how a friend feels, because sometimes what he's communicating is his own problem and how he feels. So what are the needs that are being expressed through the cries that come from beyond the wall? Now, the second thing you need to do is be able to find that loose brick. My friend who lays a lot of brick walls says, Brad, there's always a loose brick. You just have to push and push and push and push until you find it. And then once you find that loose brick, just start digging a little bit and see what you can do to get through that wall. Now, what's a loose brick in the wall that a child builds around himself? Well, sometimes that loose brick is just the one interest, the one ability, the one talent, the one passion, something that kid cares so much about that he'll even talk to you about it. Show a little interest in his big interest, and you'll be amazed at what happens. Maybe his interest is horses. Maybe her interest is a little brother. Maybe the interest is a motorcycle. Maybe it's a stamp collection. Maybe it's just an old TV show. One time, I was with a kid in our neighborhood who had a big old thick wall built around him. That thing was high and wide, and it had barbed wire on the top, and it had keep out signs and machine guns. And nobody was going to get through to this kid. Well, I heard him talking to a friend, and he talked about an old TV show that he liked to watch. And I liked the same show. So I said, I know that show. I love that show. I remember when that show wasn't even a rerun. I remember when it was new. So we started talking about this TV show, and he was telling me about how much the props are being sold for and how much the costumes are being sold for on auction. And the more we talked about the show, the more comfortable he felt. And so I ran home and I copied off a few articles from the internet about how the stars from the show, where they are now. And I took them over to his house, and pretty soon everybody was just surprised that this kid, this tough kid, was talking to this old grandpa, and we were communicating. Now, what did it take? It took me showing a little interest in his big interest. And then that put me in a position to ask him to show a little interest in things that are so much more important than old TV shows and how much props and costumes are selling for at auction. I was in that position because I'd been willing to dig a little at that loose brick. So look beyond the wall, see the unspoken needs that are being communicated, find the loose brick, and then bring down the wall. Just dismantle that wall. And nothing will do that quicker than expressing love, expressing trust, and expressing it clearly and first. Sometimes we get ourselves in a boss mode. Hey, I'll love you when you're lovable. I'll trust you when you're trustworthy. Then I will respond. No, we can't do that. We've got to give the love first. We've got to give the trust first. Yeah, but what if they take advantage of that? Well, that puts us in a position to teach. But the love has to come first, and so does the trust, and so does the respect. Think about if somebody were coming up to you to talk to you, a friend, a colleague, or let's say a VIP. Think of one of your favorite superstars, sports heroes, authors. What if that person came up to you and wanted to talk? Would you be folding clothes? Would you be watching your soap opera while that VIP is trying to talk to you? I don't think so. Would you be scrolling down your device? Would you be scrolling on your Facebook the whole time that VIP is trying to talk to you? No, you'd be listening. You'd focus on him or her. You'd be paying attention. You'd be showing interest. And if we'll do that with our children, if we'll show them the same respect we would show a colleague or we would show a VIP, then you'll be amazed, absolutely amazed at what your children are willing to share with you. You don't believe me? You don't think walls can come down? Well, there's the proof. It's right on my desk, a little chunk of the Berlin Wall. And if that wall can come down, the walls around your children can come down too. Remember, see beyond the wall. Look for the unspoken needs. What is he crying for? Second, make sure you find that loose brick. Find out what makes that kid tick and push away at it. And finally, bring down the wall. Love, trust, respect. You can do it.
For over the last 10 years, Uplift Families has become a trusted provider of vetted resources, giving parents tools to keep their kids safe in these challenging times. The Parent Resource Center on upliftfamilies.org is a place where parents can find answers to many of their parenting questions. We thank you for joining us as we have been able to bring Uplift Families' nationally recognized TIPS Parenting Conference to television for the very first time. Before we end tonight, let's go to the Governor's Mansion for one final message from Utah's First Lady Jeanette Herbert and Governor Gary R. Herbert.
I hope that you've enjoyed our TIPS Parenting Conference. We thank our wonderful presenters that have given us such insight and information. Parents, the bottom line is it all starts in the home. If we can strengthen our home and our children, we will see a big difference, not just in our families, but in our very communities. Gary and I have worked to maintain strong bonds with our own children and grandchildren and have seen the important influence that we can be in their lives.
One of my favorite quotes is by President Lyndon Johnson. He said, "The family is the cornerstone of our society. More than any other force, it shapes the attitude, the hopes, the ambitions, and the values of the child. And when the family collapses, it is the children that are usually damaged. When it happens on a massive scale, the community itself is crippled. So unless we work to strengthen the family, the rest will be in jeopardy." We are blessed in Utah to have parents that understand the value of the family and are working hard to protect this sacred unit of our society. We hope that you will continue in your efforts to strengthen your homes and families so that we can continue to enjoy the quality of life we experience here in our great state. By supporting each other and working together, we can make a difference.
I hope the messages that you have heard tonight have inspired you. May each one of us take them to heart and find ways to build and strengthen our relationships with our children. I strongly believe that being a parent is the most important job you will ever have. As our motto states, when parents lead, kids succeed.
Parents, now is your time to take action and to take the lead in making good parenting choices.
Thank you again for being with us this evening. We wish you all the best in this important endeavor.
You're the engine that makes all things go. Always in disguise, my hero. I see a light in the dark. Smile in my face when we all know it's hard. There's no way to ever pay you back. Bless your heart, oh, I love you for that. Honest and selfless. I don't know if this helps it, but good job. You're doing a good job, a good job. Good job. You're doing a good job. Don't get too down. The world needs you now. Know that you matter, matter. Good job. You're doing a good job, a good job. You're doing a good job. Don't get too down. The world needs you now. Know that you matter, yeah. The mothers, the fathers, the teachers that reach us, strangers to friends that show up in the end. From the bottom to the top, the listeners that hear us, this is for you. You make me feel it. You're doing a good job, a good job. You're doing a good job. Don't get too down. The world needs you now. Know that you matter.
Thank you so much to our first responders, our healthcare workers, our mothers.
Thank you to our moms and our dads.
Thank you to our teachers who've helped us.
We know it's been hard, but thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good job.